Welcome everyone to another episode of the All Systems Go podcast. I'm so glad that you chose to tune in and you're in for a treat today because I have Tanya Smith. Now, before I read the bio, I have to say this is a long lost friend. Okay. Does anybody have those people that you connect with and then you think of them sometime later and it's like, oh yeah, I talked to them last month. And those months were, were actually years. Well, this would explain our relationship, but let me introduce her. Tanya is a video strategist and business coach. She works with other coaches to help amplify their voices and embrace their face on video so they can stand out online, serve more people, and sell more of their services. I can't just read your bio, Tanya. You're too amazing. So, one of the things that I really like about Tanya, everyone, is that everything that she does has a marketing theme to it. So, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about video and live streaming, but we're going to be talking from the aspect of lead generation. Let me get back to the bio, okay? So, for more than a decade of juggling a business with a 30 plus corporate career, she's established a reputation as a noteworthy leader in the digital content marketing, earning several prestigious certifications and awards. She's got a special knack, listen to this, for simplifying complicated strategies and a fierce passion for helping others realize their potential to use on-camera content in a way that will support their business goals. All right. You can find her weekly on her Stream Like a Boss YouTube channel. She's on Facebook, LinkedIn, and watch this, everyone, Roku TV as well. All right, Tanya, welcome to the podcast. Glad to have you. How are you doing?
I am so excited that we have reconnected. Let me just say that, Chris, because you're right. It felt like, wait, we just jumped right back on the bicycle.
Yes.
Like we just started talking like we talked yesterday. And this is the first time in several years, which is crazy.
Yes.
But
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
I'm excited. I'm glad I get a chance to be here with you and to connect again.
Yes, and it's unique to get someone that is as seasoned as you are, both corporate and entrepreneurial. So I mentioned there's 30 years of 30 plus years of
Yeah.
corporate experience, but I really want to focus in on the entrepreneur side, right?
Yeah.
Right now you've got Stream Like a Boss. You're dominating in my space. Okay. You're a prominent face that I see and trust with the high quality video and the presentation and the streaming. What was the path there? Did you start out in your corporate career saying, you know what? On the side, I want to stream video.
No.
What was that journey?
Man, that journey started with a bag of makeup. That journey
Wow.
started with, gosh, years ago, before when we first met, and even before we met, with someone approaching me at the mall when I moved to Dallas and saying, "Wow, your skin is so clear. I would love to say, what would it be like if you had your own business and would have the freedom to
Wow.
do what?" That's how this thing started, honestly, because I was working at the time still for my corporate and I had moved to Texas. It was my fifth move, and I had a brand new baby who was literally only months old. And my husband was still over in Indianapolis because he
Mm,
couldn't get transferred easily at that time. It was right around, I think it was right around 9/11. Like it had
mm.
just happened. And
Wow.
so I was in this mindset of thinking, why can't I live in the same house with my husband and my new baby? Right.
Mm,
And why
mhm,
can't I make my own decisions about where my life is going to be? And why do I feel so handcuffed by this corporate job? Now,
mm.
I'm not, you know, belaboring or saying I don't like the idea of having a corporate job. I did like the idea of it, but I also wanted to be able to creatively express myself in ways that a job doesn't allow you to do.
Yeah.
And so I started exploring. And at the time, I thought, well, I should be in career coaching because I'm in HR. That's what I thought. So I did the makeup thing, and then I did the career coaching thing, and my business went through all these different iterations. And fast forwarding, it was just a couple of years ago, honestly, Chris, that I finally decided, you know what, I'm gonna venture out into doing something really dramatic because my organic reach had just fallen. I was not getting
Mm,
any attention for the type of content that I was creating before. It was easy for me to go out and share a tweet and do a telesummit, and I was able to fill up seats really quickly previously. Whereas as time went on and more people got into the digital marketplace, which you understand this, it got to be a lot more competitive. And it was really tough to be seen and to have any of this content that I kept churning out to get noticed. And so that was when Get Noticed with Video was born. It was because
mm,
there was a sense of desperation. Like I had to make this decision. And it was right around the time that my husband had been diagnosed with colon cancer and had been going through chemotherapy. And there was just a bunch of stuff happening. And I said, "You know what? I'm gonna do something dramatic, or I'm gonna get out of doing business for myself and just focus on this corporate thing."
yeah.
Because I always had that in the back, like, this is gonna be my backup, right? My backup is I'm gonna stay with corporate and keep doing what I know because I can do that with my eyes closed. But I really, in my heart, wanted to keep doing something in a business, in the business world.
Yeah.
So I decided I committed to doing a live stream every week for a year, which was crazy because I'm an introvert and I was not trying to be on camera. Everything I was doing
Mhm.
before that was, let me put some slides up. I'm going to put a PowerPoint or some Google slides up, and I'll be behind the scenes as the voiceover.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And I committed to doing this live stream thing once a week because I knew if I didn't commit to a year, it wouldn't be done and I wouldn't see the results. So I wrote it down and I told people, hey, I'm going to try this. And if this doesn't work, I'm done.
Mm.
That was how everything got started because
Wow.
it transformed everything. It changed everything about the way I do business. It changed me personally. It helped me to become more confident. It helped me to reach out and engage with people that otherwise I never would have met or connected with.
Yeah.
It just changed the game.
Mm. Mm. Beautiful. So what I love about the story is I think that there's a part of everybody that no knock against corporate or even just a regular job, but sometimes you want to move how you want to move.
Yeah,
Right? You just want to do what you need to do. And quite honestly, I think a lot of people misinterpret that feeling as I need to leave my job.
yeah,
And I tell everybody I don't have the t-shirt that says I'm unemployable, no sleep, success
yeah,
never rests. I don't subscribe to any of it. I'm
yeah,
If the right opportunity came, listen, Tanya, I'm a family man. Okay. At the
true.
end of the day, I need to be able to provide for my family, in a way that doesn't sacrifice my availability to them.
Yes,
And that could
that's
come
right.
in many forms. So I want to always give people the freedom of thought. And a lot of times in life is just giving yourself permission to do the thing that you want to do the way that you prefer to do it and not
Yeah,
feeling like it's got to be mandated and look like someone else. So that's what really stands out to me. Now you did your video, a video a week for a year.
yeah.
At the end of that, what would you say you started to see as potential for video as a medium for marketing?
Oh my goodness. I saw my reach, my engagement, my clicks. I saw everything increase. I
Mm,
saw that not only the vanity type of metrics, but also the deeper conversations, the request for me to be on virtual and in person stages and podcasts. And
mm,
in addition to that, the ability to really just have my voice be more credible. So the brand was being built and all the things from the business end were being built. But I also saw a lot of personal growth because it was not all rosy, as you can imagine. It was not like I jumped on camera and had an audience.
Yeah.
And it was not like I jumped on camera and had a positive audience for every video. There were things that were happening where I was learning and didn't even know I was learning,
Mm.
where there were
Mm.
trolls. There was a woman who came on because, like I said, this was on the tail end of my husband going through what he was going through.
Yeah.
And similar to pregnancy, and you know this because we both have kids,
Mm-hmm.
you know how you as the spouse probably feel some of the same pains, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I was feeling some of the same stress and pains that my husband was going through with the
Mm.
whole cancer survival thing. And my hair was coming out. My skin had a
Mm.
lot of acne. I was just really
Wow.
stressed and I was trying to be on camera, trying. And a
Wow.
woman got on because I didn't understand all the tech. I just knew I was just going to figure it out as I went. And I got on and I was using OBS at the time and I had figured out this thing. I was so excited about the chat scrolling up the screen. And so in real time, people were sending comments and I was reading them. And this woman pops in there and says, if I were to look up the definition of unprofessional, your face would be next to it. Because I had gotten my hair with it coming out in patches, I made the decision to just cut it all off. Like, just cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to go super short and I'm just going to try to rock that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I felt like I can do this because people will pay attention to the words.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people, if you are fearful that people will judge you, they will.
Mm.
And you
Mm.
have to get past that. But I didn't get past that. So when the woman said this, my feelings were really hurt. But not only that, I didn't realize the level of psychological impact that had. And for months after that, I was wearing wigs on my
Wow.
videos. And
Mm.
you can see this, you can see some of those wigs on my YouTube. And at some point, finally, it's like I woke up and was like, why am I carrying this woman's baggage?
Yeah.
She wrote that and she said that and she was hurtful, but really, it must have been something going on with her. This shouldn't be mine to carry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So it was things like that. I have a number of stories where things just did not go right, but I learned so much just going through that experience. And it made me stronger and it made me more passionate about helping people, especially other women, to
Yeah.
really get on camera in spite of what somebody's saying about them or how they should be and how they should look and how they should talk. It just changed things. So when I say professionally as a marketer, yes, but on a deeper level, emotionally, psychologically, personally,
Mm.
I grew so much.
Yeah. I think what's interesting, I was thinking about baggage claim when you're talking about your troll. It's like, yeah, this is, and it's on par for video because you're putting yourself on display. So there you're gonna have to add layers to your skin because there's
Yes.
gonna be a bunch of people who would never buy a camera. Forget buying a camera. They may have a camera. They'll
Yep.
always keep it covered. They'll never be online. They're, keyboard enthusiasts with all kind of comments and opinions. And sometimes, yeah, you're at baggage claim and you see something, you're like, okay, that's mine. It's like, what? No. Why are you carrying that? That literally is not yours. And you can put it right back on the little conveyor belt
Sure
and go
can.
about your business, you know?
Yep.
So I think that's not unique to any one person. Everybody is going to have to figure out how to get their thick skin and be
That's
comfortable, in the skin that they're in. I have to admit, there are so many videos that I've cringed at that I have recorded, and the marketer in me comes and saves the day and says, MVP,
yes.
this minimal viable product, just put it out there, Chris, improve on it later. Just go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for it. But there was a time, Tanya, where I was doing art online,
Mm,
as a side hobby of mine. And I found myself, so it wasn't necessarily video for me, it was art. I found myself imprisoned by people's
mhm.
opinions because I was drawing their faces and I
Yeah.
needed them. Pay attention
Mhm.
to that word. I thought I needed them
You
to
thought
really like it. And
that's
if
right.
they didn't, I remember telling you I drew somebody and it looked just like her. I mean, I didn't know the lady, but it
Uh-huh.
looked just like her. Everybody that knew her was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And she hated it. I mean, she flamed. And I was like, I wonder what she's seeing that isn't. And that one person was in my head for I
Yes.
50 other and people are using it for their profile picture. They're
Mhm.
like, "Oh my gosh, this is great. Thank you so much." That one person,
That one. It takes one. It takes one.
yeah, and I woke up one day I was like, "You know what? So be it. If I like the art and I am the artist, then it's
Mhm.
good art. I
Yep.
cannot be slave to people's opinions. So, however you get there, everybody,
Mhm.
we all have our journey to get to the point where you're okay with putting yourself on display. Because
Yep.
what I want to transition to is how to generate leads from doing such. And you've got a framework. And the reason why this was important to me, Tanya, is because I have seen people go live for years now, right? I mean, ever since Facebook
Yeah.
launched it. And there is a persona and a perception that because
Mhm.
someone's live and there's comments and people are liking and viewing, that's translating into leads and those leads are
Mhm.
translating into business. So I
Yeah.
want to give you the floor to dispel that as a truth and give some insight on what are the back end mechanics and system structure that really needs to be in place in order for that front end presentation to be capitalized on the back end.
Yes. Thank you. Look, there are what you said is completely true. Everything you said for the last couple of minutes is absolutely true. There are a lot of people who are out there that have tens of thousands of followers, and we're just making assumptions based on what we see that
Yep.
is converting into actual paying clients. And
Yep.
the challenge with that is that that is not the truth in most of the cases that I'm seeing. And I know this because I've talked to a lot of these different people and found out they don't really have a system. They're just doing a live and they're like, hey, well, look at all my numbers, look at all the people.
Yep.
But what are you doing with that?
Yeah.
You can be a micro influencer, which is what I'm told that I'm considered to be. You can be a micro
Mm.
influencer with a small audience that is highly engaged and ready and willing to pay for your services and for more of an experience with you. But you have to offer them that experience. It can't just be, I'm just on camera. Hey, come see me,
Yep.
where everybody can see you for free.
Yeah.
So for me, I really have I won't say I was struggling with it. I was trying to figure this out for the last few years. Like, what makes sense? How do I create content in such a way, like you asked, that is going to drive people from just being lurkers and watchers into becoming potential leads that will then become paying clients? And
Yes.
so there are multiple ways you creating different types of video content that will help people to move from that awareness stage into becoming converted clients. One of the things that I created and I'm working on creating or building out a course on this is the live stream to leads method. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use brand as the acronym because I love, we love, I
As
love
marketers,
acronyms
boy,
because we're marketers
we gonna
and
come up with a name for something.
we got to make it easy to remember so we can
Yeah.
repeat it everywhere.
Right. Right.
I mean, that's a fact. I and like I mentioned the whole idea of me having different iterations of my business in the past. One of the things that I absolutely love the most that's been at the core of it all is personal brand. So
Mm.
brand is going to be the acronym. When you're creating video content, and really content of any kind, it starts with brainstorming. So the B is for brainstorming. Like, do you have a central place where you're keeping all of your ideas? Because we're constantly bombarded with information. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes and I have an idea. And if I don't write it down or put it in a central place,
Yeah.
I'm never going to find it again.
Yep. That's so
But
true.
out of those ideas forms your potential video content. It's the content that's based on those core themes that you're talking about all day long, all the time. And so the brainstorming piece is really important when it comes to the video topics, whether it be from you're inspired because you're watching or listening to this podcast right now. That could be a way that you're getting ideas. But the brainstorming is the first step. The second step is research.
Mhm.
This is where it makes sense. And I think most people aren't doing this, right?
Okay.
I think a lot of people are jumping on and they're doing a live stream because they feel inspired today. Like, I
Yep.
feel like I need to do a live today.
Mm-hmm.
It may
I
or may
agree.
not be connected to any type of content strategy, but you have to have the strategy if you're going to make this be something that's sustainable and that is going to create recurring income for you and people that are coming back because they're not only loving your content, but they also see that it's investment worthy, right? It's worthy of their time, but it's also worthy of their money. So the research aspect allows you to then take those different ideas. So you got this whole bucket of ideas you've been centralizing, but now you need to decide if it's relevant to the audience that you're trying to talk to, because there's going to be a lot of people that may watch your videos, or there
Yeah.
may be a few. Even those few, if you're targeting your message correctly, could be what I call your most valuable video viewers, your MV3s, right?
Mm.
So that's who I want to talk to. I like the people that come and lurk and they're like, hey, girl, that was great. You know, my family members, hey, I see you. I love them, but I really, really love my MV3s.
Yeah.
So if I'm researching and I'm clear on who that target audience is, who that MV3 is, then I'm researching to decide, okay, well, which of those, I have this whole bucket of 100 different topics, but maybe only 20 of them are really worthy of becoming a solution to a pain point that my MV3s have.
Mm.
So I need to research and I need to find out, are these the questions that they're asking? Is this an answer to something that they want to know? Is it relevant to them? Am I excited about it? Could this be something that from a keyword search perspective could be a match? Like, can I create
Mm.
really good information and content based on these topics that I chose? The 20 of the 100, are these going to be good keyword search content? Like, can I create titles and descriptions that somebody is actually looking to find?
Yeah.
So, and I'm giving real high level as best I
Mm-hmm.
can because I know we don't have all day. But the A, after you've decided, okay, I'm going to pick those 20 topics, the A is about assigning time. And this is
Mm.
another space where we all fall
Oh, I'm
down.
so guilty. Stop.
We have to
Ooh, it
assign
hurt.
the
It
time.
hurt
We
when you
got,
said it.
look, dude, because we say we're going to get all this done. I'm going to record 500 reels this week. But we have not scheduled this. We have not put one lick of time on our
Mm.
calendar. And
Mm.
so then at
Mm.
the end of the week, we're wondering why we didn't get this video done,
Yeah.
why we're
Yeah.
not ready for the live stream. So we're jumping on live like, hey, everybody, I'm going to talk about,
Mm.
I don't know today. I'm going to just,
Mm.
we have to assign that time. So for me, I assign time by making sure that I have my live stream schedule consistent. It's every week on the same day, same
Yeah.
time, so that I can train the people in my audience as to when I'm going to be on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And having that time scheduled, I now am assigning also what time am I doing the research? What's the time of the week
Yeah.
that I'm going to actually prepare to do the promotion ahead of time? Because the next step is in, and that's notifying the audience.
So hold on. I got to
All right.
pause you because you got me so deep, and I'm trying to shake it off. I'm trying to, but I I have to say this: the hardest schedule you will ever make in your life is a schedule with yourself.
Yes.
And I've gone through leadership training where literally for 3 to 6 months, it's focused on establishing the habit of putting you on the calendar. And for
Yes.
me, what it looks like, and I can tell when I'm serious about something, Tanya, I could tell because if I'm really serious about it, it literally is an appointment on my calendar that's blocked out. Don't put it as free time where someone
That's
else
right.
can go into your online calendar and schedule. And you're like, oh, somebody else did it. They're more important. So I'm going to do that.
Mm-mm.
I'm literally reserving time with myself.
Yep.
And the thing that you said was not just time to record, but time to research and time.
Yes.
Like you need, if we're talking about longevity and consistency,
That's the
and
thing.
my parallel is email newsletters. Everybody once they, I don't know where it came from, but this idea of weekly newsletters. I'm going to
Yep.
send an email, a newsletter weekly. And anytime somebody says that, I know that they've never done it before because that's really hard to do. Is
Mm-hmm.
I know once, since you
Very hard.
haven't sent anything, all these ideas that you have up here, you think they're endless. You're like, oh my gosh, I've got 2 years worth of ideas. And you start executing and you realize after month two, shoot, what do I
I
what do I
know.
write about?
That was hard. That's so hard.
What else do I say? So when I hear you say research, that's
Yeah.
also, I'm putting that into the preparation bucket because I need to know what I want to make may not
Yeah.
always be what people want me to make. And as long as I'm aware of it, my thing is do whatever you want to do. Just do
Mm-hmm.
it with intention. Don't do it thinking it's
Right.
achieving this when it's not. If you say, "Look, my folks want to hear about A, B, and C," I get it, but I'm going to give them X, Y, Z. All right, you're fully aware that you're
Yeah.
unaligned with
It's
your
the
audience.
mismatch.
Okay. All right, floor is yours. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, that's good. That's good stuff.
Yes.
So you get to the assign the time piece. If you're putting that on your calendar and you're making sure that you have put in the work to dedicate space so
Yeah.
that stuff can actually get done, that's really important. All of these steps are important, but like you said, it's about the relevance, it's about the alignment.
Yeah. That's
It's
that's the
aligned.
true test, Tanya, if you really
Yeah.
want it. If you put it on your calendar and block off time and I see
Yes.
you do that consistent, oh, you don't have to say any words. Nothing, because your actions have shown this is something that you're committed to and you really
Mhm.
want to improve, you really want the result, and this is important to you and your business.
It's the community members that are in my space right now that are consistent and that have put this on their calendar. They're the ones that excel more quickly.
Yeah.
The other ones who typically don't excel as fast are going to be the ones who are like, well, I'm going to try to figure out a time I can do this week. You haven't booked it? Like, this is
Yeah.
not a regular thing.
Yeah.
The other problem with that is it's kind of like telling somebody that you're going to have a party, but you're telling them like while you're already in the party. Like, I'm already on the live. Hey, everybody, I'm here.
Yeah.
Come.
Yeah.
And you haven't given people notification. That's the end. Notifying your audience and making sure that you've prepared them to receive the content that you have just put together with your heart, right? And your soul. You put this content together and you want people to see it, but you
Yes.
got to promote it. You got to let them know. So notifying your audience, whether it be through your email list, if you've got a text community, if you've got a Facebook group or a circle group or any of these different systems that are out there, but some kind of way you're notifying people. If you don't let them know, and this is something I learned back in the makeup days,
Mm.
open mouth, open store.
Mm.
Closed mouth, closed store.
Oh, I
So if
like
you're not
that.
telling people, I mean, hey, if they don't know, they don't show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the D is the final, and that's delivering on the promise you made. You said you were going to talk about X, Y, and Z. So therefore, You need to speak to that and you need to be passionate about it. You need to be enthusiastic about what you're talking about. You need to deliver on what you said you were going to deliver. You need to show up on time. You need to share the content with value. And you need to assume that, look, the person on the other end may not even buy a single thing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people won't, but they'll tell their friends, they'll tell their other business colleagues who actually do need what you have to offer. They are willing to pay to get that extended experience and time with you.
Yeah.
So the delivery is the final piece. But I feel like if you have those five pieces, if you consistently and repeatedly have a system and a framework that you're using to deliver your content, that's when it works. That's when it converts.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say, anytime that I've lacked consistency, it's because of no system, no infrastructure, just kind of going at it whenever I could think of it or whenever I feel inspired. Because
Yep,
what the system allows you to do is, even in those moments where you don't feel creative, you can leverage your creativity of the past.
that's
Right?
right.
That times where you sit down and you just can't think of it. At one point, you were in the shower, you were on the road, you had
Mhm.
ideas, a million ideas a minute. But now it's time to sit down and actually do it. And you're like, man, what was that thing I was
What am
thinking
I
of?
gonna do?
Or, So what I want to do is, in natural fashion, listen, there's no secret. We all love our technology here. Okay. So I'm gonna, this is gonna be a tough one for you, because I
Uh-oh.
want you to go through each letter. And though I know, Tanya, I know you've got at least 2 to 3 options for
Uh-oh.
each letter.
I'm
Just give us
scared.
an example of one tool, one piece of software we could use for brainstorming, for researching, for scheduling, notification, and delivery. So,
Ooh, you just said one. Bless your heart. Okay. Mm. Yes, this is a challenge, but not really, because I actually, as a part of the course, I'm building out an Airtable
oh, we love
dashboard.
Airtable. We love Airtable.
Yeah. So I'm building out a whole dashboard. It's what I use all the time to keep
Hmm.
track of all of my content, all of my obligations, anything that's related to my content marketing strategy is all in this dashboard, and that's going to be part of it. So I would say brainstorming. So for me, I can tell you that all five of those pieces are scheduled and partially automated within my dashboard. So when I
Oh,
have
all in Airtable.
yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
And
Hmm.
here's why I started doing that because I was having more guests. Initially, I was doing just mostly solo live streams, and
Hmm.
I started having more guests on my lives, and I wanted to keep track of them and also make sure that I was staying on top of the information that they needed, sort of like, what you do in terms of systems.
Yeah.
And so having them fill out the guest registration form feeds into that Airtable dashboard so that there's certain things that start getting kicked off with Zapier and all of that.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna go back because for those who don't use Airtable, I'm gonna try to give you one for each step. I'm gonna
Hmm.
try. So brainstorming literally can be any type of note taking app. It
Yeah.
could be Evernote. It could be Notion, it could be anything. Like
Yeah.
wherever you want to keep your stuff, but you need to have it be a central place that you can get to, whether it's through your mobile phone or if you're doing it
Yeah.
through your desktop.
Yeah.
So, brainstorming there. Research also could be any one of those. It could be Notion, it could be any of the places that I just mentioned. But I also am a fan of using tools such as ChatGPT.
Mm. Mm.
I'm a fan of using that. I'm a
Yep.
fan of using TubeBuddy and vidIQ
Okay.
because it's specific to video.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if I'm looking to find ways that I can make sure that my content topic that I've chosen is relevant, TubeBuddy and vidIQ will help you with that because they're going to be focused on video specific content. So they're looking for other videos that are doing well and they can tell you, hey, the title that you came up with, let's tweak it a little bit and make it fit. this. And here's the type of audience or the numbers that have been drawn to this particular topic in other spaces.
Mm.
So that is a huge thing for me, is one of those, either TubeBuddy or vidIQ, or sometimes you can use a mix of both for research. You told me to do one. You're right. It's hard.
It's very hard.
It's hard. Assigning, if you're assigning time, like I mentioned in the Airtable dashboard, for me, it's really clear. I can see what type of content is going out each day of the week. So at the beginning of the week on Sunday, I'm taking a look at, okay, what do I have coming up the next week or two, so that
Mm-hmm.
I make sure I'm not like stepping on each other.
Yeah.
Everything's not
Yeah.
all over the place. If I have a guest on Thursday, I can't do a solo live stream on Thursday too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but really, it could be whatever your calendaring system is. Wherever you're most likely to go and pay attention and look at the timing should be the place where you assign it. So Google Calendar, my whole entire family, they know, like, if it's not on the calendar, it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a color coded family calendar. So they know when I'm going live, and they're not trying to schedule things that are going to conflict with that, or come running up the stairs like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this is my live stream time, right?
Right.
So assigning time could really be whatever calendaring tool that you choose to use. You also, in conjunction with that calendaring tool, my suggestion would be that you have some type of live streaming platform that allows you to promote ahead of time, like Restream or Ecamm or StreamYard, any of those. Because I typically about 48 hours ahead of my live, I'm going to go ahead and pre-program that into that system. I use
Mm-hmm.
Ecamm Live mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell them, hey, I'm going live on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Here's my thumbnail. Here's my description based on the research, my description, my title. So all of that is out there. That way I can start driving people to it. I'm notifying them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's part of the notifying, through that promotional thumbnail, description, and title that I've added into my streaming platform.
Yeah.
In addition to that, of course, your email system, whatever that may be. And then on the, let's see, I'm on Notify. D for delivery, also streaming platform.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that you can do this natively. If you just, for instance, are on Facebook and you wanted to schedule through Facebook, you could do that. But I prefer the streaming platforms, the third party platforms, because they give you so much variety and ability to really control the environment. And by that, I mean, you can stream to multiple spaces at one time. You can create a better like imagery of yourself in terms of branded graphics and banners and sounds. So all of those things from a delivery standpoint, I really rely on my platform to help me to amplify the message that I've prepared. You know, I prepared this content. I got this outline of what I want to talk about, but I need to make it look really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
All right. So I'm gonna jump in, I'm not gonna answer every letter, but I'm gonna add some commentary here. Right. So the brainstorming piece, I found what works really well for me is mind maps for one, and notes for two. Now, I needed a framework, Tanya. I needed a framework for notes, because what I found in my experience is there are certain notes that I can use on my computer. The
mhm.
app may be just too slow. Like if I
Yeah.
have an idea, I need to hurry up and capture it. I don't want to click an icon, then select new note, then select a category. Then so like creating a Google Doc or something like that on my phone doesn't work.
Mhm.
So what I would do is I just wouldn't do anything. But then I would lose all of those ideas in the moment. So what I started with, or what I'm currently using, is I got an Android phone. So Google Keep. You could do Apple Notes,
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's so fast. Listen, let me just say this. In terms of formatting the notes and options and all, it's terrible. I can't even bold text. It's horrible. I don't know what Google is doing. It's the dumbest thing ever. But it serves a purpose, because I can get a note up like that, and then later in the week, I can go
Yeah.
because it syncs with
Smart.
my Google account. I can go and transition those notes over into Airtable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where
Mm-hmm.
they start to actually come to life. Same with mind mapping. Sometimes if I'm in front of my computer, it's just too much up here. So I'll jump into some mind mapping software and lay it out. So that's one that's new. I'm going to piggyback on yours because it's more so newer and it's been working really well. ChatGPT for research. And
Yes.
people may be like, research, what do you mean? Sometimes you don't even know what to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes you just need a help to get the brain started. And I'll
Get
just
started.
talk to Chat GPT like it's my personal butler. Say, hey, so
Yes.
look, I got a community of marketers, right? And what I'm trying to do is da 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 da. And then
Mm,
based on what it spits out, I'm like, oh, let me go look into that. Let me go find,
yeah.
do some deeper research. So I'll say that around attention. What was A? A was
So A is
assign
assigning
assign time.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with assigning time, what's worked for me is what you do, color coded Google Calendar,
Yep.
and I have a calendar called I can't remember what it's called. I think maybe it's personal time or strategy cal. That's what it is. So
Mm.
it's its own color and it's synced with my online platform. So I use Calendly now, but it doesn't matter what you use. And what I use it for is one to block out my strategy times, the times where I need
Mhm.
to focus on me. But I also do it as kind of like an ad hoc. I need to block timeout period. Like, oh,
Yeah.
my wife just told me there's something coming up. I don't have time to go into the app and actually
Mhm.
do all the settings. I'll just put it right there and we're good. And that's it. That's all I'll say because I want to end it with one last thing. And everybody, I just want to tell you, Tanya is leaving a lot of meat on the bones intentionally. We cannot, it is impossible to go in the depth that is required to
Yeah.
truly show you how to capitalize and use this framework in a way that generates leads. For that reason, for those of you who are part of the community, we're going to have Tanya come on and do an actual training where she walks us through. You can ask questions and all of that. All right. This is not that, but that's there. That's coming. It's probably by the time you all have heard this, it's probably already available. All right. So what I wanted to say is this. Once you've gone through the brand system and you've got the content out there, I know as a marketer, you don't even have to tell me. I know that you're using URLs and you're driving people to landing pages. But
Yeah.
what would you say from live streaming? Because I may know them, I can see their name in the platform, but I
Mhm.
don't see their name in my email system, right?
Mm.
So I see
Mhm.
Carrie is always on at my
Yeah.
5 p.m. live. Yay, Chris. But I don't see Carrie
Uh-huh.
in my
I need to get
email.
them over there.
Listen, Tanya, this is a whole nother episode. I'm
Yeah.
aware. I'm just peeling the top of the can. I don't want
Yes.
to
Yes,
open
it
all of
is.
it, but just
Yes.
give people just a little bit of insight on how to bridge that gap.
Yeah, a big part of it is built into your script. It's built into
Mm,
when you're creating that content, you need to have a call to action for every piece of content you create. So every video is going to have a call to action. So what I do with my clients is I have them create a call to action library that they can select from. So the different offers,
yeah.
whether they be free offers or paid offers. Now, I know this is a cardinal sin for marketing of the 2000s. Okay, I know this. Somebody told me you can't sell from live streams. That's a lie
Mm,
because now live stream selling itself is a marketing strategy.
yeah.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
have opportunities to drive people to paid content. Now, do you want to do that 100% of the time? No.
Yeah.
But part of your calls to action need to be driving people to a sales page. The majority of it's going to send them to some place where they can be added to your email list. And if
Yeah.
people are your MV3s, as we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
if the people watching, the majority of the folks that are watching and coming back each and every week are your MV3s, yeah, they're going to jump on the fact that you have a community, a Facebook group, they're going to jump on the fact that you have a free download that shows the show notes for your video. They're going to jump
Yeah.
on the fact that you have a free, I don't know, a how to 10 ways to continue to expand on what we talked about in tonight's video. They're going to jump on those things and get onto your email list.
Yeah.
Then you begin to nurture. So the whole awareness, bonding, and conversion, all of that, and that's a whole nother show. But getting them through that sales cycle, that process, and into an email list or a space where you can continue to nurture and have these conversations and invite them to a paid experience, that's the
Yeah.
key.
Yeah. I want to say this because we know her. I know of her. You know her personally, Loria. I'm not even gonna try her last name because I don't want to butcher it, and I respect people's names too much to butcher them. But as you were saying that, I thought of her because there was a point in time more recently where I was just investigating. I was
Yep.
investigating, hey, what goes into making a video and this and that. And she had a YouTube video that
Mm-hmm.
answered the question to your point
Mm-hmm.
of delivery. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure she researched to see
Mm-hmm.
what kind of questions people have because it wasn't hard to find it when I got on YouTube. Now
Yep.
in there, she politely invited me to say, hey, if you want your own personalized gear list, go
Yay.
here and put in a little information and we'll give you a specific list of things that you should buy. And
Yep.
I was like, as the marketer in me is always skeptical. So the marketer in me is like, oh, she's just trying to get your email and da da da. But good marketing works whether if you're aware of it or not. Mar-
That's right.
Good marketing, value based works. So I was very, very curious. Like, I wonder how I could improve my setup.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I wonder what gear she would recommend. And lo and behold, I'm on Loria's list. Okay. So long story short, that it worked. But as you're saying that, I'm just trying to help people piece it together. This is do not, I repeat, do not take out your phone, hit live, and think that you're doing something. I'm
Mm-mm.
serious, everyone. You have to do this with strategy and with intention, and you have to be committed for the long term. Here's what I
Yeah.
didn't say, Tanya. That video that I watched, it was like 2 years old.
Yeah.
And that's the real power I see is
That
that
is.
somebody's 2 years ago is somebody's today.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So listen, everybody, the goal is to equip you. We're trying to equip you with both knowledge and community to make sure that you can take advantage. It's like somebody on a biking treadmill,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they're doing all of the motion that somebody who rides a bike does. They're just not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You take that same motion and maybe even less energy, put it on a bicycle, and you'll be surprised at
All the
how
places.
far all the places you can go.
Yep.
That's what this is for. We if you're building the muscle, do it in a way that moves you forward. So, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, back to you, Tanya. They've listened. They're like, oh my gosh, I need brand. I need the framework. I need to get video. This is it. This is what I've been missing.
Ah.
Where can people go to get in touch with you, learn from you, and just in general find out more?
Oh, yeah. Getnoticedwithvideo.com is my main website. And I would highly encourage you to visit the site. You'll see a lot of information about where I am and what I do. If you're interested in finding our schedule for live streams each and every week, go to streamlikeaboss.tv, and that will give you links to all the different spaces where I go live. And you just join in wherever your favorite social platform is. Or if you have Roku TV, you can watch me there too. But I am just excited to be able to connect with you and to give you hopefully something that you can take away and start using immediately. So, however we connect in the future, you are welcome in that space. And I invite you to hang out with us sometime.
Yes, yes, great. Thank you so much, everybody. As you know, the links, all the resources that we mentioned will be in the show notes. And listen, okay, all right. Here's my time for a call to action. And I'm
Okay.
saying that, you know what? I'm saying this because of my audience. Tanya, I'm gonna talk about them to you. So it's like, I'm not talking about them. I'm just talking to you. This is what they do. I'm just going to tell you because I do it too. They learn as much as they can on their own and
Yes.
not until they absolutely have to. Maybe there's an emergency or they're just like, okay, I think I'm ready for something else at their choosing. Then they
Hmm.
choose to go and join a program or jump into the community. And
Yeah.
what I've seen is success follows the feet of the swift.
Ah.
Those who are proactive and say, you know what, let me get started now.
Yep.
Even if I don't know what I don't know, I just don't want to miss out. I want to make sure that I'm capitalizing on all the resources. And the reality is this: there's no individual that achieves success individually.
No.
It's not possible, Tanya. So
Mm-mm.
that's my context. That's my pretext to this. Join the community. What are you? Listen. This is what we talk about: Airtable, ActiveCam, all the
Yeah.
tools, but we do it strategically. And you can have a means of
Hmm.
asking the questions and getting trusted answers.
Yes.
You cannot place a value on that. I'm part of so many communities, Tanya. I pay for them, and it just shortcuts everything that I would spend so many hours trying to
It
figure out.
does.
Some industries, I am that person where it's like, let me figure out as much as possible. But that's only because I'm already invested in all of
Hmm.
these other communities and ways of getting value. So I want to say that because guess what? This conversation will be continued in the community. You will have access to ask questions to Tanya live or afterwards. If you're in the community, it's there for you all. I do this for you all. Tanya, thank you for coming on to the podcast. This has been amazing. It is exactly what I wanted it to be. I can't thank you enough. I'm greatly appreciative. And I'm just glad, listen, everybody, stay connected with your people. Okay.
I
I'm
know.
just glad you responded because I
We're
was
not
like, I
going to
felt
wait for
so
7 more
ashamed.
years. We're not waiting 7 more years, Chris.
Yeah. No more. No more. So thank you so much, Tanya, for joining our listeners. Thank you from the future. And we really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.